At 30, I thought I was late. From the other side of 60, I realized I was early. Early in the sense that I still had time, and I didn't know how precious that was. I remember looking around at 30, watching other people's lives like a race I hadn't trained for. Someone had the career, someone had the marriage, someone had the house, the baby, the confidence. And I kept doing this quiet math in my head. Am I behind? Did I mess up? Am I already running out of time? If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. Tonight's letter is a simple one. It's a letter to my 30-year-old self, and maybe to yours. Not from a pedestal, not with lectures, more like a hand on your shoulder. Because at 30, most of us are trying to build and prove and survive all at once. We're trying to be responsible. We're trying to be impressive. We're trying not to disappoint anyone. We're trying to keep it together, and we don't realize how much we're tightening our grip. Here's what I wish I could have told myself back then. You're not behind, you're just tired. And time doesn't suddenly speed up. You just start noticing it. You start noticing how quickly a year slips by, how quickly people change, how quickly someday turns into not now. So tonight, I want to share a few truths that matter more than achievement once time starts feeling precious. Not big secrets, just the kinds of truths you understand in your bones later. The kind that make life gentler. In the next part, I want to start with one of the biggest ones. Achievement won't hold you at night. Peace will. At 30, I thought achievement would fix the feeling underneath everything. I thought if I could just reach the next level, the better job, the bigger paycheck, the title that made people nod, then I'd finally feel settled. But here's what time teaches you. Achievement doesn't hold you at night. It doesn't sit beside you when your mind won't quiet down. It doesn't soften a lonely evening. It doesn't calm your nervous system after a hard day. A resume can look beautiful, and your heart can still feel tired. And I don't say that to discourage ambition. Work matters. Providing matters. Building a life matters. But there's a trade people make without realizing it. They trade sleep for status. They trade peace for praise. They trade their best years for a future that keeps moving farther away. Don't trade your life for a resume, because later, nobody gathers around your old job title. Nobody sits with you in your living room and asks, "Tell me again about that quarter you crushed." What holds you later are simpler things. A quiet home, a few real people, a body that isn't constantly clenched, a mind that can rest. I remember a season where I finally got something I wanted. It looked good on paper. People congratulated me, and I should have felt proud. But I came home one night, sat down in a quiet room, and felt empty. Not because I was ungrateful, because I had been chasing a finish line that doesn't actually finish. That's when I learned peace is the real rich. Peace doesn't make noise, but it changes everything. It changes how you wake up. It changes how you speak to the people you love. It changes whether your body feels like an enemy or a home. So if you're 30 or 40 or 50 and you're grinding yourself down trying to prove you're enough, I want you to take a breath. Success is fine, but don't make it your whole identity. Because one day, you'll realize you would trade a lot of achievement for a calm evening and a good night's sleep. In the next part, I want to talk about something even more valuable than success: relationships. The people you love won't be here forever, and the older you get, the more you realize that presence is the real gift. If I could go back and tell my 30-year-old self one thing about love, it would be this: love is spelled time. Not grand gestures, not perfect words. Time. Time spent showing up. Time spent listening without multitasking. Time spent calling when you think, "I should call," instead of saying, "I'll do it later." Because later is not always there. There are calls you don't get to return, and you never know which one it will be. The older you get, the more you realize how many relationships don't end with a big goodbye. They end with small delays. I'll call next week. I'll visit when things calm down. I'll text when I have time. And then life moves. People get busy. Health changes. Distance becomes normal. And one day you look up and realize you haven't heard their voice in years. So protect your relationships like they're gold. Call the people you love while they're still here. Not because you're anxious, because you're awake. And when you do have conflict, and you will, don't let pride stretch it out. At 30, I could stay angry for a long time. I could keep score. I could rehearse what I should have said. But later, you see how expensive that is. You see how silly it can feel to lose months over a sentence. Do the repair quickly. You don't have to grovel. You don't have to pretend you weren't hurt. But you can soften. You can say, "I don't want distance between us." Because distance has a way of becoming permanent if you keep feeding it. And choose your people wisely. As you get older, you realize you don't need a big crowd. You need a few people who feel like home. People you can be quiet around. People you don't have to perform for. People who make your nervous system settle instead of spike. If someone makes you feel small, anxious, or constantly on trial, that's not love with a challenge. That's a slow drain. And time is too precious for slow drains. You won't regret the calls you made. You won't regret the moments you put your phone down and looked someone in the eyes. You won't regret the way you chose presence over pride. In the next part, I want to tell my 30-year-old self something about the body, because no one talks about how the body keeps receipts. The way you live in your 30s and 40s shows up later, and it's worth treating your body like a lifelong friend. At 30, you can get away with a lot. You can run on caffeine and stress. You can sleep 4 or 5 hours and call it hustle. You can ignore the little aches, the tight jaw, the headaches you pretend are normal. But from the other side of 60, I can tell you something gently. Your body is listening to how you live. Your body keeps receipts. It remembers the years you didn't rest. It remembers the worry you carried like a full-time job. It remembers the way you swallowed anger, the way you rushed meals, the way you lived in a constant hurry. And one day, it starts collecting. It might show up as blood pressure you didn't expect, back pain that doesn't go away, a stomach that can't handle stress the way it used to, sleep that becomes lighter and more fragile, not as punishment, as truth. So if I could tell my 30-year-old self anything, it would be this: stop treating your body like a tool. It's not something you use up and replace. It's the only home you'll have for your whole life, and caring for it doesn't have to be complicated. It's the unglamorous things that matter. Sleep, water, a walk, food that doesn't leave you crashing, quiet time when your mind is too loud, and boundaries. Because boundaries are health too. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is stop answering every call. Stop saying yes to every request. Stop trying to be everything to everyone. Rest is not optional. Not later, now. And here's the thing that surprised me as I got older. When you treat your body with respect, you become kinder. You become steadier. You become less reactive because you're not constantly running on fumes. You start feeling your life instead of just surviving it. In the next part, I want to talk about emotional freedom, something I wish I knew at 30. Stop taking everything personally. People project their moods and wounds, and you don't have to carry their weather. It will save you years of unnecessary pain. If I could hand my 30-year-old self one kind of freedom, it would be this. Not everything is yours to fix. Not everything is yours to carry. At 30, I took so much personally. A tone, a look, a delayed text, a comment that landed wrong. I'd replay it like a song stuck in my head. I'd try to decode what it meant about me. And I didn't realize how much of my life I was spending inside other people's moods. Here's what I know now. People project. They hand you their stress and call it your problem. They hand you their insecurity and call it your flaw. They hand you their disappointment with their own life and aim it at you because you're nearby. And if you grew up trying to keep peace, if you were the one who read the room and adjusted yourself, then you're especially likely to pick it up. But you don't have to. Let it pass. You can listen without absorbing. You can care without carrying. You can be kind without being available for emotional mess. At 30, I also chased closure. I wanted people to explain themselves. I wanted apologies. I wanted neat endings. But so many things in life don't end neatly. And waiting for someone else to give you peace can keep you stuck for years. So another truth I wish I knew. Don't postpone your healing waiting for a perfect conversation. Close doors from the inside. You can forgive without reconciling. You can understand without inviting someone back in. You can move forward without having every answer. And the more time passes, the more you see how little some arguments mattered. There are people I spent nights worrying about. People I tried to impress, tried to convince, tried to win over. Now I can't even remember what I was proving. That's the gift of distance. It shows you what was noise. So if you're younger than me and you're carrying someone else's weather right now, put it down. Not with anger, with wisdom. In the next part, I want to tell my 30-year-old self what matters most when time starts feeling precious. Because later, you don't wish you were busier. You wish you were more present. You wish you'd let your life be enough while you were living it. There's a moment that comes later in life when you start feeling time differently. Not as numbers, as weight. A year doesn't feel like a long time anymore. It feels like a season. And you start noticing how quickly seasons pass. That's when your priorities quietly rearrange themselves. You want fewer things and more time. More mornings that aren't rushed. More dinners where you actually taste the food. More conversations where you're not half looking at your phone. More quiet. More presence. Because later, you don't sit around wishing you'd answered more emails. You wish you'd watched more sunsets. You wish you'd taken the walk. You wish you'd sat on the porch with someone you love and let the evening be enough. This is what enough looks like. A simple morning with coffee, a clean corner of the house, a friend who feels like home, a body you treat with respect, a mind that isn't constantly bracing. And I wish I understood at 30 that joy is not something you schedule for someday. Someday is a trick. Someday keeps moving. So don't postpone your life. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Perfect doesn't come. What comes is now. And now is where your life is happening. I wish I knew that being present is a skill. It's something you practice. You practice by putting your phone down for 5 minutes, by looking out the window and actually seeing the light, by eating slowly once in a while, by noticing the person in front of you, by letting ordinary moments count, because they do. And the quiet truth is this: your life doesn't need to be impressive to be meaningful. It needs to be lived. In the closing, I want to leave you with a final message. Not just for my 30-year-old self, but for you, wherever you are right now. You're not too late, and you still have time. Use it tenderly. If I could sit across from my 30-year-old self, I wouldn't overwhelm them with advice. I'd just say a few simple things. You're not behind, you're building. And you're doing better than you think. From the other side of 60, I can tell you this: you still have time. Use it tenderly. Choose peace over constant proving. Choose people over pride. Choose rest before your body has to demand it. Choose what matters, even if it looks small. Because later, the small things are the big things. A quiet morning, a good call with someone you love, a walk in decent weather, a home that feels like a shelter, a mind that can finally rest. And if you're listening to this at 60, 70, 80, it's not too late for you either. You're not stuck. You can still choose what matters now. You can still soften. You can still put some things down. If this letter met you at the right time, you're welcome here. And if you'd like, tell me in the comments, what's something you wish you knew at 30? Take what helps, leave the rest.